Hey there, Joomla fans. Tim Davis here. I'm a Joomla fan too. Thanks for tuning in to today's Maintenance Monday live stream. It's getting pretty late this Monday. It's about 6:30 here on the west coast of Canada. But I have plans to start doing these earlier on Mondays in the next, probably starting in November, so that it's more Monday for your Mondays. Anyways, today we're going to be looking at just a quick little tip, and I'll tell you the story of how I came about deciding on doing that today. Let's just change to the full this view right here. So today I was helping somebody or offered to help somebody in a forum, and I asked them if they would like me to check out their site and to create just a super user account login on their website so I could log in and help them. And they said they didn't know how to do that. So long story short, I went onto one of my sites just to make sure I could give them the right quick steps to do that. And so I enabled registration on a site where I don't need it. And then later on, I was looking at this site, and I was actually on myjoomla.com, which I use to manage all of my websites and Joomla sites for a number of clients. And I saw this warning here that said only enable user registration if needed, and this red arrow which said the item has gone up since the last audit. And I thought, what? And then I realized, yes, I had turned on user registration. So that was a really great catch. A nice tip from myjoomla.com. Now remember, every month, and we just gave away how to pick the winner for September. Every month we've got that a giveaway for a 1-year membership to manage one site on myjoomla.com. So you can check out the card that's up top, and I'm going to put links to everything else that I'm talking about down below. So let's just take a look at how we would go. Oh, and yes, sorry, there's what the giveaway page will look like when you click on the link. Now let's just check out what we're looking at here. Here's a free Joomla install. It's just a very basic install that I play around with for some tutorials and that. And you'll see over here in the options under login form, it says create an account. And unfortunately, I can't zoom in on there on the live streams. And so if you have your Joomla site running and you don't want people to create accounts on it, then you probably want to turn this off, because one, there's just nasty bots out there that will go and just keep subscribing to your site. In fact, I knew one guy who had a Joomla site. He was so super excited that he was getting all these new signups for his site, and I was kind of surprised because he had done no work on it and had no content basically. And when I logged in and looked, they were all robots from Russia. So he was a little bit disappointed. Actually, wasn't that disappointed because he didn't believe me. He'd rather have enjoy the numbers than the reality. So there's bots that can sign that up, and of course it just leaves your site more vulnerable if there's some nasty bots or attempts trying to abuse that system. So the way to turn that off, if you don't need people to be creating their own accounts on your site, is to log into the back end of your Joomla site and go to Users, Manage. Just click Manage, and then oh, look at that. Timed out. Public, public admin. Let's give that a try there. All right. So we're at Users, Manage, and when we get to there, we will see on the far right Options. We're going to click on Options. And here's the top line here under the User Options tab, allow user registration, yes or no. And by simply clicking no and clicking Save, you turn off user registration for your site. Now we're going to come back to that in just a second. Notice here when I saved, the cache was cleaned, and so using Regular Labs Cache Cleaner, and that will mean when we go back to this page and refresh, I'm going to get a fresh view of the page, not something from the cache. So you can check out Cache Cleaner in the links below or in the card above. So we'll just refresh this, and you'll see there we cannot create a username. We cannot create a new account. Nobody can register one through that link. It is turned off. Now I did want to just mention this, that another great thing to do to protect your site against bots registering not only is turning off allowing user registration, but also add reCAPTCHA to your site. Now, I haven't done it to this site, but add Google's reCAPTCHA, and I actually do have a tutorial already on the channel, card and link as usual. Check that out, because that's really powerful to set up on your site, and will give an added level against bots or people trying to create profiles on your account when you don't want them to. And of course, if you want to allow registration, then you would just turn that back on and click yes. And there's other options that we'll look at on this page, but we'll save that for another Monday, or maybe for an actual tutorial itself. So there's just another little thing that you can look at and do in order to maintain your Joomla site and get things happening the way that you want them to. Let me just switch over screens here again. That's why I need someone to do this for me. I hope that that is helpful. If it is helpful, why not leave a comment below? Maybe you have any experiences of bots adding lots of users to the Joomla site. I've got a friend, I don't know if he's watching right now, but Rick from smartdrivetest.com, and all of a sudden some bots went wild on his site, and I didn't have registration off or whatever in place. And he ended up with like 2,000 new profiles, and then they were all Gmail addresses, and the system sent out confirmation links to Gmail addresses that didn't exist, and the IP got blocked, and we had to clean it, and it was a huge mess. So maybe you have a story like that. Feel free to share it below, and or if you have any questions or ideas for other Maintenance Mondays or other tutorials here on the channel, then by all means leave a comment below, like it, and please do subscribe if this is helpful. If I've earned a subscription, then please go ahead and subscribe and ring that bell so you get notifications of new tutorials and new live streams when they're happening. So before we head over to chat to see if anybody is there, I will just sign off as I usually do. Enjoy your Joomla sites, and God bless.